I will show you some of the earlier drafts also here. Earlier he used to call it Savitri, a tale and a vision. That was the title it was given during the Arya period, a tale and a vision. Book 1. Book 1 was Quest at that time. So, the boundless spirit of night, dreamless alone, in nature's solitude, love met Savitri. The boundless spirit of night, alone. See. Now you can see the difference also here. The phrase, this line belongs to now the first page of Savitri. Dreamless, alone. Now you can see one more important thing here. Alone, there is a comma after alone here. Alone is standing by itself. In the final version, there is no comma. Alone, it flows on in her unlit temple of eternity. Alone, in her unlit temple of eternity. It goes on like that, you see. Even the spirit line is like that, you see. Alone. Nature solid. Tale of Vision, Book 1, Quest. At the time, this was called Quest. The hour was near of the transfiguring gods. The months had passed. The sky was set like bronze. Now, these months had passed. The sky was set like bronze. That belongs to the Book of Love. Quest, rather. Book 4, you see. Set like bronze. It belongs to Book 4, you see, this phrase. The sky was set like bronze, again, you see. See, at that time he was saying, transfiguring gods. And you can see G small here. These gods are the gods of transformation in the earlier part. But then he has made them different. The gods of transformation will come when Savitri removes the obstacle that is standing in the way of the divine event. The huge forwarding mind of night, which is standing there across the path of the divine event, when that goes away, then the gods which will come will be the transfiguring gods, the gods of transformation, you see. In other words, the gods which belong to the earlier cycles of creation have a limitation in the sense that they cannot bring about transformation. They have a limitation. The gods which belong to the earlier cycles of creation, they have a limitation. No power, no capacity, no ability, so to say, to bring about transformation. That will happen when Savitri opens the doors after removing the mind of night across the path of the divine event. Then the gods which will come, they will be the gods of transfiguration.
The same gods?
Same, we don't know. If they want, if these gods want, if these gods want, if they want to participate, yes. Otherwise, new gods will come. See, he is consistently using the phrase transfiguring gods.
What is the date? Still Arya period or it's still Arya period? Quest F9.
No, they are all in the earlier part. Yeah, earlier part. All these things.
But earlier we don't know exactly.
No, first period. First period. The sky was when the book was of a different type. You know, he said earth and love and quest. The division was different at that time.
Because in the record of yoga, Sri Aurobindo mentioned often poetry.
Yes.
He didn't mention Savitri.
Yeah, he doesn't mention Savitri. No. Well, record of yoga that way begins right from 1912. 1909.
The first year.
Yeah, well, but basically, but it starts writing after coming to Pondicherry. You see, 1911 or so, maybe. You see, record of yoga. You see, I mean, Sapta Chatustaya, they belong to the earlier part, perhaps.
Stella in Pondicherry.
Pondicherry, exactly. All those things. So now that is much, much before Savitri was envisioned. So so record of yoga will not be able to say anything about Savitri.
The record of yoga
But
cover 99 up to
1927.
yeah 20.
Up to 19. That is why you have got in book 3, Canto 4, the dragon, the sphinx, the knight, the rock. You see, and that thing in record of yoga belongs to 1927. 1927. 1927. That belongs to 1927. So when Shivandu mentions in book 4, Canto 4, the dragon, the sphinx, the knight, rock doesn't say, but understood rock. It means that that particular canto was written after 1927. Obviously, it belongs to the second period, in fact, the book of Divine Mother. Now, you see, it was a moment when the gods awake. It was not the hour. See, it was a moment when the gods awake, you see. Then it was the hour before the gods awake. Now it is coming closer to the final, you see.
In Savitri, there are so many times hour.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it is the final version
Kind
now.
of hour.
And now even this one later on, this G became capital in the final.
Yes. But now it's the final version.
Yeah. It was, and again you see that line continues. You see, it belongs to the quest. Let us read that part. The sky was set like bronze. 100.14. 100.14. Last line of Canto 4, Book 4. The spring winds failed. The sky was set like bronze.
So there he uses that line there.
Youth.
Very long in the quest.
Now, see, now it was the hour before the gods awake.
And here's also the tiger.
Yeah.
You see one line earlier, the tiger is there in the jungle. Ah, there.
The very first copy dated 8th-9th August 1916. In a huge forest where the listening night heard lonely voices at the trade. This is 1916, no? 8-9, 1916. We can see the similarities. Laying in her darker, thoughtful sister's robe, what we have seen just now. She pushed his friendly shadows from her eyes, and smiling, glad, pure, thoughted she shone, and let her loosened robe drift over the sky. And that becomes now a little different. Well, it goes on like that. Then thoughtful turned to her immortal work. That is exactly the line what I got here. See, the gates of pearl ajar or mysteries were in opalescent hinge. You see, the gates of pearl ajar or mysteries swung wide into shimmering opal realm. See, we have changed the construction now finally. Now we can see what kind. This was the draft, earlier draft of Savitri. You see here you can see clearly Savitri Part 1 Earth. Even in 1936, he called it Earth. The Book of Birth. You see, it belongs to Book of Birth. Now what we got now is Book 4, you see. In that, it was the hour before the gods awake. You see, it belonged to that earlier, you see. And this earlier draft was typed by Amal Kiran. Means this typescript is in Amal, by Amal. In 1930, this typescript, what we have got here, type. The typescript is, the typing was done by Amal at the time. Sri Aurobindo used to send him certain passages privately to Amal, and Amal used to type them and give them back to Sri Aurobindo. So Sri Aurobindo used one of the type scripts for making changes and revising. Now you can see, yeah, the best of the whole thing.
In terms of forwarding.
Oh, yeah, well, some of these things are there. Now you can see exactly. He has made certain changes, transposition, all those things are there. what should come here, arrows back and forth and all that, you see. The opening of the 1936 version of Savitri, this is 1936, copied, typed by Amal Kiran and revised by Sri Aurobindo, completely spoilt by Sri Aurobindo. And he said that, I'm sorry I had to spoil your neatly typed script, you see, revised by Sri Aurobindo. Then comes another version. It was the hour before the gods awake. Now this is the column of the first page of a 1944 manuscript. 1944, his handwriting. Even that in 1944, he revised and changed and added lines in the margin, back and forth, you see. So the architecture is a difficult word.
It must have been very difficult for.
You see how complex the whole thing is.
Yeah, very complex, difficult to read.
Yeah. 1940. And then even in 1944, 1945, on chit pad, when his eyesight had become very dim and Nirod Baran was taking the dictation, on chit pad, small pieces of paper, he scribbled lines on the first. This is the last handwritten copy of the symbol dawn around 1945. 1945. You see, so how it went on, starting from 1916 to 1945. The last manuscript of the opening Savitri around 1945.
Afterwards, he was dictating, no? Afterwards, Aurobindo was not writing anymore.
No, he was dictating. Yeah, but this particular piece still is there in his own hand. That is why they are not on chit pads, you see. So they used to be inserted at appropriate places, and Nirod Barani used to make a continuous copy of the whole thing, you see. Let me show you that thing, which is important. Spirit of night, how spell has become suddenly mind. Now, this was around 1942. Here, the huge foreboding mind of night is the final phrase, alone. In this script, there is a comma after alone. There is a comma, very distinct comma. There is no comma in the final.
Exactly. But it fits there.
Comma in the final. So it becomes enjama. The line is overflowing. The huge floating mind of night, alone in her unlit temple of eternity. That line is not there. Alone in her unlit temple of eternity. No. That line is not here in this draft.
Here we have no.
Pardon me?
Here we have no comment.
No, but then there is a line after that.
The line after that is
There is
missing.
a line after that. Alone in her unlit temple of eternity.
Oh, yes.
Which is not here. Which is not here. See how poetic technique also changes. Alone in her unlit temple of eternity. Lay stretch immobile, there of course. He had inserted a line, removed the comma, inserted a line. This is 1942, so you see.
What about overmind poetry?
Huh?
Is it, according to you, overmind poetry?
Not all.
Not overmind.
Not all overmind. Not Savitri, not throughout overmind. You have a general overmind influence perhaps, but overmind lines are relatively fewer.
So there is a variation of.
Yeah, I mean, you have got you see what he calls the overhead poetry. Overhead, higher mind, illumined mind, intuition, and overmind. Now, overmind lines are relatively few. In fact, that is what we have got in section 2. Near to us, intimate with heaven, earth's whiteness, intimate with heaven. We'll see that thing shortly, you see. Higher mind, illumined mind, then intuition, and then overmind. Overmind is the mantra. The raven, indivisible, that omnipotent, that line I was telling you, that is pure mantra. the Raven, invisible atom, omnipotent pose, you see. Powerful lines like that. Those lines are pure. So you can see now the supermind, that spirit of mind, how changed, the whole thing has changed completely, you see. So I think both the poetic expression and the updating of his yogic achievements is what we have as Savitri continues. Savitri is progressing, means he is kind of updating his spiritual realization and achievements. The siddhis which have been established, those are kind of updated as this composition of Savitri is also proceeding.